blue is the colour. Certainly is at the minute. It wasn't when I came out for sunrise. Sun was hiding. You probably won't be able to see much going this way, but there's quite a bank of cloud over there, and as has been quite typical of the days recently, out to sea, quite a lot of cloud, not a lot of sunrise. It was gorgeous yesterday, but for about 5 minutes and gone again because there was a crack in the cloud. I digress. Blue is where we want to be, which is not often you hear a photographer say that, but when you have the kind of colour contrast that work very well with blue, you can't ignore them. So, simple shot, perhaps. I always say simple shot. I mean, it's simple for me. I found it. You know, it caught my fancy. I actually rather like this now. Hold on, I'm just going to get that going. So we have. It's basically I'm looking for graphic things, and well, yeah, you can't get a great deal more graphic than this, can you? Now, I walked all the way along the cliff up here to the old gun emplacements up at Happisburgh, and I thought, well, I'm going to go back, and then I saw a scramble down the cliff over there. I thought, oh, can I do that? But I saw these sea defences from up above. As the sun started hitting them, the light and the shadows was pretty amazing. But that was, I don't know, 20 minutes ago when we had a bit more raking light and the shadows were a bit more pronounced. And every now and again, the wind dies just enough to take the ripples off the water at the edge here and gives us a lovely reflection of these posts. So effectively what we have is blue sky, blue sea, yellow posts, brown as well, yellow sand, reflection of the whole thing. And I'm going quite tight in. I've got a few shots here and there looking at different things, but I'm going quite tight in, looking mostly at the reflections and the colour contrasts. And I've also got, as you may be able to see here, a 10-stop filter on to slow the shutter so we smooth the water out. And anyway, it looks a bit like this. I would have preferred the area of sand between the posts and the reflections to be a bit smaller, but by moving the camera down, I just lost the reflection. Everything's a compromise. Yellow is very much the colour of this one. The sun keeps hiding behind clouds, and actually the cloud there is now really big. What I'm liking is the very untouched, unspoilt nature of this beach early in the morning. It's not 9 o'clock yet. There aren't that many footprints around, which is great, and I'm trying to avoid putting them in myself. Just the way in which the tides pull around the beach structures here and create ripples in the sand and patterns is very, very nice. And you've seen already, I've gone for quite simplistic images. There's nothing complicated. I'm looking very much at the kind of structure of things, the shapes of things and such. And it's a good bit of practice for any photographer to do, is to just look for those shapes, look for lines and patterns and colours and contrasts. The big scenes don't always work, and if you can find the small scenes when the big scenes aren't working, then you're onto a winner. And I think this is a winner. It's such a simple shot. Just tighten everything up here. Not that it matters particularly. I mean, I could do this handheld. I may zoom in. I'm going to recompose this a little, because what I thought was good to start with, I think could be better. There's a notch out of the post that I'm looking at, and it just it messes the image. There's such a tiny bit of it gone, but it's enough to grab the eye and take focus away from the rest of it. I'll take the shot and I'll show you what I mean. I don't know whether you find that notch at the top irksome like I do. And of course I've ruined the grand reveal of this image. So if I perhaps recompose maybe on a different post,
Now you might be wondering why I didn't get this shot lined up properly before I started recording. Well, it's because I hadn't noticed the notch. You might wonder why I hadn't noticed the notch. I'm asking the question myself. I mean, it's not exactly invisible, is it?
Bear with. I think that's better. And what did I say a couple of minutes ago about sun? It's coming out now, heck. It really has come out. And you can see the light change. And now it's created amazing raking shadows.
If you'd like to support me, you can buy any print from this video or any other video. Head to my website, links in the description.
Part of the challenge in a shot like this, or shots like this, is trying to get things absolutely clean. And when I say clean, I mean no real visual distractions, but I guess you probably understood what I meant. But things I find dirty in shots like this are just some of the stones and little bits of things that just take the eye away. And on sand it can be very difficult, particularly when everything is so flat. On sand it's very difficult to kind of clone this stuff out because the tide has moved the sand around the stone. So you can't just take the stone away, or the feather, or the bit of seaweed or whatever, because it's created trails as well. So finding something that is as clean as possible is really what I'm after here. Every photo walk, every time I go out with the camera, is an opportunity. And if I were to limit myself to say, well, I'm only going to shoot this type of thing today, I think I would be a bit of a fool, because I can miss good shots doing that. And I've decided that I'm not going to shoot just clean lines and such here. Well, I suppose I have, but it's a more complicated shot. It's basically looking straight into the light this way and concentrating again very much on the shadows and the structures. But it's perhaps it'd be better if I just showed you the shot and talked you through it. And it's very likely black and white because I've shot it with that in mind. So I'll talk you through it.
Did I say black and white? Of course, I meant mono. Okay, so it didn't work in black and white. Well, in my opinion it didn't. But I think in its native colours, I think it's awesome. Just looking into that hazy sun really has worked very well with this. I love the structures. This is a perfect example of how you can use repeating patterns to create some incredibly graphic imagery. It's such a simple image, yet so complicated, and your eye is just pulled from left to right. You can't help but look at that line. But I did get one from a different position that was absolutely perfect for black and white. The diffused light on the other one didn't work, but this does. I prefer the sharper feel to this in black and white. And of course there's a colour one as well. This is looking in the opposite direction with the sun over my shoulder. All three of these images of pretty much the same thing have very different feels to them.
When the light is so changeable, particularly when things are so flat and you've got, well, nothing on the horizon, and you have to look for shapes and patterns and textures and such, then one of the natural places to go is black and white, as we have probably already seen. I mean, I don't know at this stage whether I've made that black and white image, but you know, maybe you could let me know. The textures of these groins really does come calling in these situations, and I rather like the shot I've got here. I always say it's a simple shot. And often I'm wrong. Often, you know, I suppose it's not simple in its execution, but it's relatively simple in the final outcome. The technicalities of the shot are quite complex because I've got these gaps in the boards in the shot, and whilst you can see I'm very close to the boards, therefore I've got a very shallow depth of field. If I increase that depth of field by stopping down, I get the textures of what we can see through the boards, which is pretty messy, coming to light. So what I've done is I've put the aperture at f2.8 and I've focused bracketed through the shot, so hopefully I've got something that is by and large completely sharp throughout it, once I stack it of course and blend it, and keeping that background mess, the texture in the background completely out of focus and soft, because if I was to keep that all in focus, your eye wouldn't know where to settle. I really bigged that up, didn't I? I thought it was going to be a good shot. Just goes to show that as much as you think I've got a good eye, sometimes it's just awful. Not only is it not a very good shot, but it's also technically crap. I missed focus. I mean, it's a big focus stack, but I did it manually, and don't ever do that manually. I think the whole idea of doing it manually was just dumb. I should have just set the camera to do the focus stack and gone through it that way, but I missed at least one focus position on it. Now, there's a little bit of a, well, it's not a silver line because it's an awful shot, but I just wondered whether Topaz Sharpen AI, whatever it's called, would resurrect it. And I'll tell you what, it didn't do a bad job. Now, the image you're going to see is watermarked. I'm not sponsored by Topaz on this. I just downloaded the trial version and see whether it would do it. And let me tell you, just downloading the trial version of some of this stuff is a big investment of your data, the internet bandwidth. It took half an hour to download one of these applications and install it. But anyway, here's the Topaz AI shot, and I'll put the two side by side. You can see that there's a definite improvement in terms of sharpness, and it has recovered. Well, as I say recovered, I mean, you can't recover. It's used AI to put the data in there that was blurry in the first place, but I'd say it's done a reasonable job of it. But as I say, not sponsored in any way, shape or form, just I thought I'd give it a go. So many times when I'm out trying to make a video, there are so many opportunities missed because I'm trying to concentrate on too many things. So I apologise for not filming what happened a little while ago. But if I come this way and everything gets rather dark because of the backlighting, the sun has been doing some really interesting things through the cloud today. I'm going to come back because you can't see me. And there was a big hole in the clouds, and the sun had risen rather above it. When I say hole, kind of diffuse hole, and the sun was kind of sweeping out over the top and providing an awful lot of lighting and wonderful lighting on the waves against quite a dark, cloudy backdrop. Through the hole, there was this wonderful light ray that was kind of multicoloured. It was almost rainbow coloured, but very much more on the peachy, orangey, pinky end. It was absolutely gorgeous. And I got one or two shots. I haven't reviewed them, so I don't know how good they are. And because I wanted the light hitting the tops of the waves, the whites of the water coming in, I got the tripod quite a way down the beach and let the water rush up to it and put it onto remote control through the phone, and waited for the right time, and I got what I hope is a really nice shot, which is going to come up in a second. If you'd like to see some other beach abstract or kind of detail shots, there's a couple of videos appearing here. If you can thumbs up the video, that would be great. If you can support me in any other way, buy me a coffee, subscribe, buy a print. There will be prints available from this video. Links down in the description. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.